Good morning. Welcome to the conversation on TOS TV Network. We're reaching you live from Abuja, that's Nigeria's capital city. It's a very chilled, atmosphere, weather here in the capital city today. Not rainy, not sunny, just really chilled, cool, and I think I like it that way. Today promises to be an exciting time on the show. And of course, my name is Adesu Alsi.
And my name is Merciful Ajinamo. Happy Friday, good morning. And apart from the weather being chilled, I think the month is running.
Yeah.
It's like today's 9th of July already.
You know, I've just concluded that 2021
is a fast year.
Really fast. It's like, I can't wait to be done.
I think it's like a competition because every month we came in June, we're like, Happy New Month. And again, we're like, New Month again, July and everything. And 9th.
I'm in.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
What are your plans? Tell me your plans weekend.
My plans for the weekend. I haven't really structured it, but I think it's just basically centered around just relaxing. I think I'm mostly off for a relaxing weekend, and then that's
the vibe. That's the vibe we all need to relax and just be taken care of.
Taken care of. That's the part that we need to get to. Okay, having said that, we're going to bring you the quote of the day right about now, and after that, we'll be bringing you up to speed with stories, development, and happenings from across the African continent.
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
What is this?
The Cadbury goodness is in every pack of Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, making you feel cheerful and pleasant. Enjoy the Cadbury goodness.
All right, we'll begin with South Africa. Yes, where the former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, has finally decided, to comply with the prison term that was handed him, I think, sometime last week. So he has handed himself over to police custody just minutes before the midnight deadline for police to arrest him to begin serving a 15-month prison term for contempt. President Zuma has decided to comply with the incarceration order. He's on his way to hand himself into a correctional services facility in KwaZulu-Natal province, a tweet posted by the Zuma Foundation said.
I think it only proves to be that the judicial system is working. And if he had not handed himself over, it would have been more issues. There would have been an escalation of problems and everything. Not just contempt of court, but disobedience and everything. So
I mean, he has been
trying to negotiate the term and everything, not coming in. They're like, okay, you're supposed to come to the country and everything. But finally,
I think it's finally seen reasons, hopefully.
And I think I don't think this has happened before where, I saw the video, when he was driving the entourage and everything to the police station. I'm like, okay. So after 15 months, what's it going to be like? How's the treatment going to be like? I was just thinking.
We wouldn't know, but I just think, I really wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know what it's going to be like, honestly.
Yeah, I really do hope that, the African continent should pick a cue from this and, just learn that, look, at the end of the day, the judicial system must work. So when the law says do this and do not do that, everyone, because nobody
so basically
is above the law.
Nobody's above the law, exactly. All right.
All right, we move over to Ethiopia, where the authorities have said that humanitarian flights are allowed to its northern Tigray region amid concerns that aid is not reaching people facing famine. But the civil aviation head and UN say no such flight had yet left the capital. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government declared a unilateral humanitarian ceasefire last week from the battle it had with the Tigray People's Liberation Front since.
It's quite pathetic what's been happening in Ethiopia, especially in the Tigray region. And, there's a lot of humanitarian crises that are happening there. And then they're having to now face, have to be confronted with issues of starvation and stuff because aid is not getting to them.
It's not getting to them.
And then so it's like, I think it was last week that the Prime Minister, called for a ceasefire and said, look, let's just rest this for a bit. But the rebel group says no. So they've been going on, but it's been a back and forth, and you have people displaced. Yeah, it's just really terrible what's happening. I just hope they find some sort of succor like really soon. And then even if they don't want a ceasefire, they shouldn't stop humanitarian aid from getting to them.
Definitely. I really want to see more aids, coming into Ethiopia because we have people who are hungry, we have people who need food, shelter, clothing, and even medicine.
Exactly.
You understand? So we reduce the death rate in the country.
Exactly. All right, moving away from Ethiopia to here in Nigeria, where the Chief of Defense Staff, that's Lucky Rabo, said the armed forces are developing new capabilities in intelligence and surveillance, which are essential in tackling insecurity across the country. He said this on Wednesday at a dinner held in honor of Senior Course 43 of Commandant Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. So basically, the armed forces in Nigeria says they're developing a new intelligence, to combat the
We cannot wait.
No, but this is what we've been talking about.
We've been talking about it for months. New strategies, tactical forces,
but why did it take them this long to say, look, okay, so basically we've tried different tactics and it's not working. So we're now trying to, develop new intelligence mechanisms to actually tackle insecurity. I mean, I thought this was going to be like the front, the top,
the first thing, yes,
the first on the list and all of that stuff. But well, they thought about
let's
it.
Wait and
let's
see
just see
happens,
how that works. All right, that's it for stories, development happening across the African continent. We'll be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across the continent. And I always say COVID-19 is very real. Countries, continents, are experiencing a third wave, and Nigeria is not, we don't want to get to that part. So, but I'm just going to bring you, the update, and after that, we'll be looking at front pages of the newspapers this morning.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV.
It's still the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And don't forget, you can be a part of our social media community. Connect with us and get updated on our social media platforms at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And of course, you can live stream our programs on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube page, please like our content and subscribe so you do not miss out on our amazing content. It's the conversation, and we bring you the newspaper front pages for this morning. We begin with the Blueprint newspaper from the very top. FIRS threatens to freeze multi-choice account over 1.8 trillion naira debt. That can be found on page 21, and just underneath that, we see over 40 million to benefit from EcoBank Women in Business Initiative, and that can be found on page 21 as well. The very gaping headline there, the banner headline, CDS Irabo on insurgency fight others. We can't use old tools to defeat new threat. We have four riders on in this story. Says new capabilities in intelligence surveillance being developed. Bandits kill immigration officers. Injure soldier in fresh Katsina attack. 14 abducted in Kaduna community. And the last rider, DHQ goes tough on rape, human trafficking, others. And all of this can be found on page 6 and page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Away from the Blueprint newspaper to the Daily Trust newspaper, starting from the the banner headline on the Daily Trust newspaper: how mop-up by agencies neighboring countries pushes food prices up. 4 riders under the headlines: anchor borrowers, beneficiaries buying finished products to hoard. That's coming from a Greek minister. Says CBN collecting grain instead of cash. We only mop up extra harvest, and that's coming from the Apex Bank. That's the CBN World Food Program. ECOWAS in rush for maize, millet, others. And then underneath the picture of the day: tears as army commander killed by Boko Haram IED buried in Abuja. Over 76,000 Nigerians killed in 10 years. That's coming from the governors. COVID-19, federal government confirms Delta variant in Nigeria. We can't defeat terrorists with old equipment, defense chiefs. And that's it for, the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
The front page of the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, we begin from the very gaping headline there that talks about alleged VAT evasion. FIRS appoints banks to recover 1.8 trillion naira from MultiChoice. And we can get that on page 3. The writer says we are yet to receive FIRS notification. That's coming from MultiChoice Nigeria. And just under the picture of the day there, we're talking about cyber crime. Uniloring final year student bags 3 years imprisonment over 35 million naira fraud. That can be found on page 3. Just underneath that, proposed $57 oil benchmark production level will determine its achievability. That's coming from an expert. And a couple of other headlines there on the Nigerian News Direct newspaper.
Okay, and then looking at the Business Day newspaper, which is the last that we're going to be looking at its front page this morning. The very big headline, that's the banner headline on the Business Day, says France on charm offensive, woos Nigeria business leaders. Beside that one, Nigerian investors sit on 282 billion naira as startups seek growth capital. And then inside the Business Day on page 4, Nigeria's crazy petrol consumption in 5 charts. That's it. That's all of it on in front of it, on the front page of the Business Day newspaper this morning.
All right, just grab yourself a copy of all of the newspapers we've read this morning. We have headlines in all of them, so you can read up on all the stories. Yeah, that's what much you can take on the newspaper headline segment of the show this morning. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll bring you the big story. Stay tuned.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Bornvita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Bornvita, strength to dream.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. Get the farm say it's happy. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself. Oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It is still The Conversations, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And don't forget, I always say you can be a part of our social media community. Follow us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TOS TV Network. And of course, you can live stream our program on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on our amazing content. It is the big story, the crux of the conversation. And this morning, our focus is on Electronic Act Amendment Bill and the alleged ban of electronic transmission of result. And joining us via the telephone this morning is God Bless Otubure, Global President, ready to lead Africa and not too young to run, Lagos State Coordinator. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. First on the list is what is your take on the recent update on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill concerning the electronic transmission of results?
My take is what we have been stating for the last couple of weeks or days now, where we are disagreeing vehemently with the House of Representatives and the Senate, led by Dr. Ahmed Lawan and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, where we are literally saying that it is impracticable and makes absolutely no sense to Nigerians and our democratic process if in 2021 Nigeria is still conducting elections and the results that comes out of the process are transmitted manually from one location to another, because at the end of the day, you are endangering the lives of the people who work in our elections. So we have a security imperative. We have an innovation imperative. We have an advancement imperative. We have a transparency imperative. We also have a democratic imperative. So my take is that we disagree and we've expressed it. And now a lot of them are coming out to say, oh, no, that is not what we are going to do, which is a positive step in the right direction for the country and for those of us who have been on this campaign.
Okay. But are you also of the view that the supposed removal of electronic transmission is an attempt to actually manipulate election results? Are you of that opinion as well?
I do not believe that electronic transmission of results is an attempt to manipulate election results. So when the argument is stated that, if it is transmitted electronically, it is susceptible to manipulation and hacking by non-state actors or rogue IT hacks and what have you, the question should be, is this a possibility? Yes. What then is the solution? The solution is that we can defend that infrastructure from not allowing it happen. And let me state this, so that people can get clarity on this issue. Electronic transmission of results does not necessarily mean that there's going to be the input of raw data manually from the polling unit, and which is say, let's say I voted in the polling unit in Maitama, and end of the day, the polling officer will now begin to use his hand to type on the keypad and say, APC scored 300, PDP scored 350, YPP scored 400. That's not the only expression of electronic transmission of results. Let's also not forget that there is what we call the paper trail. So the Form EC8 that we vote with, which is where everybody, where we can print and then the eventual collation of results that everybody will see and raised by the PO and we all will count it, that particular form, once that form has been filled and agreed on and signed on by the different polling agents, a picture taken of that form that is sent through a dedicated server, because at the end of the day, you cannot manipulate a picture's number that has been signed, right? Yeah. We all have the pictures. So the thing is this, electronic transmission of results is not just about the technology. It is also about the legality of that transmission. In court, So we must understand what it is. So whilst we may have a manually tabulated result which emanates from the polling unit, we are also saying that this electronic submission of results is simply making that result making that result that has been electronically transmitted admissible also in court.
Okay.
INEC is already doing something like that. INEC did something like that in Edo State, in Ondo State, in Nasarawa State. And before you carry that result from the polling unit to the collation center, to the local government collation center, the federal constituency or Senate or whatever, before you get it there, everybody within the result viewing value chain would have seen that from ECA that you snapped from your polling unit. Okay. So what it means is that even if you change the result along the way, the result cannot be permissible in court because we now have the real evidence from the pictures that we've shared. So there are two layers to this thing. There's the one where at the end of everything, INEC staff and its team would manually, enter all the results, and then that can be seen on their website. But the paper trail is already there, taken through pictures, and those ones we just want to say, let it be admissible in court. What INEC is doing so far is just evidential, but not really permissible in court because the 2010 Electoral Act does not recognize the electronic transmission of results. So you see the difference.
Okay.
So apart from the admitting the paper in court, is there any advantage? Because we have 2023 just around the corner. We're just 2 years before the general elections. Is there something we can say, oh, this is an advantage? This is where we were before now, and this is where we are now?
Absolutely. So I will say this to you that when you talk about President Goodluck Jonathan and you talk about Nigerian elections, what comes to mind? Card readers, right?
Yeah.
Card readers. So Goodluck Jonathan equal to card reader. President Muhammadu Buhari equal to electronic transmission of results. That is the legacy we are hoping that he would. Now we're believing that he would. Take on and accept and make it happen. So the advantages are enormous because people will not see. Look, it's simple. Once election is done in my polling unit, I should not be worried about what happens to the result as it travels along the value chain of condition. And then because at the end of the day, if the results of my polling unit before I even leave, it has gotten to Abuja, or it has gotten to the place where they are collecting it. Anybody that they hire to come and waylay me and kill me or snatch ballot box, are they not wasting their time? They are wasting them. So we cannot know this solution and refuse to take it and say we want to make progress. It's not done that way.
Okay.
Right? So you have an opportunity to say, your elections are going to be better accepted. The results are not going to be as contested as they are, right?
Yeah.
You are going to have more people have confidence in the process. Not going to participate. Or is that not what you have been crying that we want? We want good leadership. We want good governance.
Yeah.
Even participate. So the advantages are absolutely enormous. Absolutely enormous. Yeah.
Okay, you did mention some of these advantages rather, but you did talk about card readers earlier, and then we know we've seen cases of card readers that are not functioning or something in that line. And I do know that the ICT sector in Nigeria has a long way to go. Like we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. Like looking at this sector, do you think we're actually going to get electronic transmission right, especially looking at the proximity to the 2023 general elections?
We're going to get it. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't get it. As a group, as a demographic, we believe the president is with us on this because he promised us, please forgive my yawning, promised us that he would bequeath credible electoral legacy to Nigeria. And that is one thing that he has consistently reiterated. And he has also said, look, INEC, whatever you need to make this process work, I will do it. So I'm confident that we will get that done because the president supports it. That's on one side.
Okay.
The second reason is Nigerians from the north, east, west, and south are saying we don't want to continue the way things are, right? So the Electoral Commission of Results saves our children. The youth corps members who were killed working on elections, who were traveling across the value chain of the result, are going to know that after the result, after elections, they know that nobody is coming after them because it is no longer in their hands. You know, so we will get it. We'll get it. And if you say the challenges from card reader and word abuse, I just think that we literally can see that sometimes what we need to do is not to look at what the problem is, but what is the solution to the problem, right? Because, I mean, card readers are definitely working better now compared to when we first used them.
Okay.
And INEC has tested it in Edo State, we tested it in Ondo State, it did it in Nasarawa. What does it tell you? It means that there's capacity to get this thing done.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on the conversation this morning. It's a wrap for the conversation this week. But don't forget, the conversation comes to you every weekday, Mondays to Friday. That means we're going to be back here on Monday. But before then, don't forget to follow TOS TV Network across all social media platforms. That's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And of course, subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube so you don't miss out on the lineup that we have there for you. You can also stream our content on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name remains Adesua Osui.
And my name is Merciful Ajunomo. Have a wonderful weekend, okay? We'll see you together again next week. Bye for now.
Single camera, single camera.